I mean, wait a minute, you're not Mike, but I guess we'll figure
I'm
that
not.
all out. Yeah, the rumor is out there. We're spreading it just like we're spreading it holiday cheer. We'll be back.
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. I've been running scams on the street since I was 10.
Hey, hey, Mike, what do you see? A falcon that inflates for free. Hey, hey, Ken, what's the drill? Blue milk sipping gives me a thrill. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. Left, right, left, we're marching through. Cosplay helmets and a saber or two. Hey, hey, Mike, what's the plan? To nerd out harder than anyone can. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. So grab your gear and join the crew. Mike and Ken got a show for you. Laughs and stars and a galaxy far. The Falcon's ready, let's raise the bar. Hey! 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 Hey, hey, Mike, what do you see? A falcon that inflates for free. Hey, hey, Ken, what's the drill? Blue milk sipping gives me a thrill. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. Hey! Hey! Left, right, left, we're marching through. Cosplay helmets and a saber or two. Hey, hey, Mike, what's the plan? To nerd out harder than anyone can. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. So grab your gear and join the crew. Mike and
Oh man, he's so funny, that guy.
That's such a great intro. Though I do miss the Han Solo song. I always appreciated that one.
Yeah, that one brings me lots and lots of joy. And the thing that I find so funny about this one is listening to the lyrics and then watching the video that Mike put it to. So, and for those of you that are just catching up with us tonight, welcome to the Inflatable Falcon. I'm Ken, one of the co-hosts here, and Mike is off on some wild adventure, top secret mission kind of thing. And we got a guest, a special guest, a handsome guest. So would you please introduce yourself to everyone for us?
So I'm Todd, and I'm from Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy with Todd and Ken. If you don't know, you should know, but if you don't, go check it out. I'm also from Lake Clan Legends, where my sons and I play D&D, and we're actually going to start playing some Warhammer battles on a regular basis. And then lastly, my own project is Table Ready Painting, and that's on YouTube as well and on podcasts. So we talk about Warhammer and tabletop games. And you, Ken?
I'm doing well. It amazes me that you were able to do such detail on these table ready or tabletop figures, and at the same time build life-size props and costumes that you wear around at different events and conventions and stuff like that, to go from micro mini with this probably itty bitty paintbrush to having to use spray cans and air not spray guns. What are the
like aerosol cans
not the rattle
or
cans, the other one.
airbrushes. Airbrushes.
Airbrushes, that's the
Yeah.
word I'm looking for. I'm having a moment here. I guess that's what
Uh,
happens when you get older.
It amazes me most of the time too. So I'm still kind of amazed that I have my own Mandalorian gear and stuff like that. So and I'm kind of in that I'm ready to do a new one, but I'm not ready to start a new one phase.
Well,
I have
have you-
all the ideas working around, but it's hard to pull the trigger sometimes,
Well, have you considered joining one of the brigades?
Yes. I've got a couple ideas floating around, and actually one of them is the medium armor, which I think my armor pretty much fits in, if I remember. And then the other one is the mechanics brigade that I've been considering,
Okay.
but I need the tools for that. So
Yeah, so for those of you that are listening that aren't familiar with the various costuming groups, you've got the 501st, which is stormtroopers and all the bad guys. You've got the Rebel Legion, which is Jedi and the good guys, and then you got the Mando Mercs, and that's the official costuming club that Todd and I are in. And in addition to
Right.
becoming an official member of it, where you have your costume approved to meet certain requirements, there are also other layers of complexity known as brigades. And so as a member of a brigade, you have to meet additional requirements, whether it's type of armor, type of weapon, type of soft parts, or even, to your point, the accessories and tools that go with your costume.
right.
So you can keep that same base costume that you have, add some bits and pieces, and you can up the game, make it more intense, make it more specialized without having to create a whole new costume.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way I'm going to go, because I do like the layers that I have at this point for my armor. Though I am considering a comma instead of the cod piece, but that's that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah. Well, as a comma
Just for
convert,
fit.
yeah, and the comma won't break. That's one of the cool things.
Yeah,
Unless
Yeah.
you attach armor plating to it, it won't break like a cod piece will. So
right. And I think I'm just kind of waiting for mine to lose some of its rigidity
Okay.
and start to break or whatever. And I think that's going to be the final nail in the coffin, if you will, and
Yeah.
the reason for a switch over.
What I think I'm going to ultimately end up doing, and I've been preparing Heather for this for quite some time now, is I'm going to get a mannequin, and I'm going to put my Kenix Kabur costume on the mannequin, so it's on display all the time. And I want to finish and start wearing my other costume, the one that I've been working on for the last year or so, the other custom Post Imperial Mando. So we'll see.
You have all the hard parts for that done, right?
No, I still have to get gauntlets. Mike was kind enough to help
Okay.
print me a pair of gauntlets, but I haven't painted them. And I also need, let's see, I need to put my visor in my helmet, and I need to finish some accent pieces on that.
Okay.
The majority of my costume is painted with color shift paint. So at one angle under light, it looks purple. On another angle, another light, it looks green, and then sometimes it looks a little bit blue too.
Right.
And it has.
And I really like that. I think that's the color in that has come out really good. I mean, I've only seen them in videos and pictures, but I'm I would be very happy about it.
Yeah, and I'm just going with my flight suit is just a Din Djarin flight suit. and I'm just going to add the different armor pieces to that, so I don't have to do anything fancy. So it's that brownish gray, soft part material.
Gotcha.
And for starting off without a costume corner segment, this is a really good sticking to the typical inflatable Falcon fare, and we didn't even plan it that way.
Right. We talked about costumes, which we weren't planning on, and we got off topic already.
Yes, in true fashion. But what our idea was, when Mike had mentioned that he wouldn't be able to record tonight, you and I had talked for a little bit briefly through electronic communication. We were going to do
Right.
a holiday special of sorts, except
Of
it's a
sorts.
holiday gift giving special.
Yeah, no variety show for us.
Yeah, no one wants to see me in spandex trying to do flips and or singing in sparkles. It's not a sight for anyone. And I
Right.
apologize for anybody who that now has that vision in their head, because you probably won't be able to get rid of it.
Well, I mean, I was considering a number almost like B authors in the holiday special, but I
That can
couldn't get
work.
enough drunk people to hang out around me for some reason.
It'd be for me to be very easy. It's time for you to go. Don't need a song. It's time to go. I got cleanup to do.
Right.
Now we both have enough friends and colleagues and coworkers who are,
Right.
I would say, casual Star Wars fans, that there is the possibility that one of them at some point might come up to us because we are, the Star Wars fan in their life, the big fan, the one that they compare other people to. Oh, you think you're a fan? You should hang out with Todd.
Right. There's plenty of people like that.
Yeah. So if someone were to come to you and say that their family member or their friend or their coworker is a Star Wars fan and they need some help getting them a gift, and let's keep the topic focused on, let's say, books. What books do you think you would recommend for a Star Wars fan as a nice holiday gift?
So I would say there's a couple different levels. And there are, of course, at any given time, there's comic books that are running. I think right now there's a Darth Vader and a Boba Fett one, if I remember correctly, running right now. And if they're more towards that kind of book, like I would get them the first couple issues of that and see if that's something that they're interested in. And I think that would make a really good starter gift for somebody that maybe hasn't touched a comic book or hasn't touched a Star Wars comic book.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? I'm gonna have you keep going down that path. My puppy's scratching at the door, so I'll be right back. But,
Okay.
but
No
continue
problem.
continue to tell the listeners what you're saying.
So that's where I would start. I would start with if they were into more like the comic book, or they're not regular like novel readers, I would probably start with that. If they were more interested in the novels themselves, and if they're sort of up to date, the Master of Evil book has just come out by Adam Christopher, and that's more about like Darth Vader in the beginning years. So I haven't, obviously, I think it just came out like a couple days ago. So not only have I not read it, I don't actually own it yet, so I can't give you an accurate assessment as to how good it is. But that would be a good place. I also learned today that there's a manga that just came out that incorporates. It's actually set in the sequel series timeline. Actually, I think it's between the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker. And I just saw it today, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but it just came out a little bit ago, and it's supposed to have some fantastic tiebacks into the Old Republic, into the prequels, into different areas, like one of the things that they find is a lightsaber that that was a relic of the Old Republic. So it ties all the way back to the Old Republic, and then of course it's current into the sequel timeline. And again, I just heard about it today, so I'm not like, I didn't even get to do research on it, but I'm super excited about getting a look at that. Other than that, there's actually a wonderful book that I was looking at when it's more of it's a art and reference book by Doug Chang, or about Doug Chang rather, called Cinematic Legacy. It's a 2-book special. It just came out yesterday. And if that's something that somebody's really into, like I know Ken is, some of the artwork and the behind the scenes and stuff like that. And it's really cool because the first book is all the stuff that he did with Star Wars. So it's all the droids that he created, the different ship designs, a lot of the creatures that he worked with or worked on. And then the second book, which is all his prior work, stuff that he did before Star Wars. So stuff like Back to the Future 2, the Alien 3 movie, Terminator 2, stuff like that. And it's, of course, it's like a visual art reference book, well, 2 books. So that's really, really interesting. I want to kind of take a look at that. That's one of those books that I would love to thumb through. And certainly if you gave it to me as a gift, I would be over the moon about it, just because like Ken does, I like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, and certainly a lot of the visual art that goes into it. And that's pretty much the stuff that I have. And now that Ken's back,
Yeah, so sorry about that. My apologies, everyone.
no, that's okay.
There's certain calls you can't put on hold.
Yeah, understood. So
Now, did
I
you
was
happen
just
to mention
on.
anything about trade paperbacks at all?
I did not.
Yeah, because I just so happen to have, an example of one. And one of the cool things about trade paper, one of the things you were mentioning right when I ran away, was comic books.
Yeah.
And trade paperbacks will take a handful of issues and combine them into one book. So instead of having to read through 5 different issues, you can just grab the one. And I've recently become a fan of the trade paperbacks a little bit more than just the individual ones, because they even seem to take up a little bit less space.
That's a really good idea. I hadn't actually thought about that, but that's a good in between there. I also mentioned I just learned today that there's a manga that came out that's within just recently. I just learned about it today, so
Okay.
and I don't remember the name of it, but it's based between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And it's a story that includes, they find a relic of a lightsaber from the Old Republic, and it also has tiebacks into the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. And I wish I had the information on me, but I just learned about it today, and I didn't think about it until I was talking about it now.
That's very cool. I know that they had done one for Star Wars Visions for the Ronin character, I thought.
Okay.
I think they did one for that, but I didn't know about the one you're talking about. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the information. If I can, I'll send it to you, and we can throw it in the show notes or something like
Yeah,
that.
that'd be cool.
The other one thing that I did mention was they have a book about Doug Chang, the Cinematic Legacy. Did you see that one yet?
I haven't seen the book itself yet. I know that it exists.
It just came out yesterday, so I don't think a lot of people saw it.
Yeah.
But that is a book that I would like the old coffee table books, like you can all the visual art stuff and stuff like that. It's pretty
Yeah, and so
interesting.
that brings us into this whole other wild channel. But before we hop into that, I want to stick with the comic books for a little bit, because one of the great things about it is, yes, you can get the current ones, the modern ones. You're talking about Darth Vader or
Yeah.
Dr. Aphra, and stay even The High Republic. They had comic books for that. And if
Right.
you wanted to, you could go back to the late 70s and 1980s, and from there get some of the other comic books. The Marvel comic books from the original line, or the Dark Horse comics, and there were so many different storylines with that. Yes,
Right.
yes, it's true that those are not considered canon. However, the art is fantastic. The stories are fun. I mean, that's where we got to meet characters like um, Cade Skywalker. We got to meet
Right.
Jackson the Rabbit, who shows up in Lego Rebuild the Galaxy and stuff like that. They have action figures for
Right.
Jackson now. Um, and I think I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think Marvel has a digital application that you can buy or subscribe to, that if you
Yeah,
didn't want to have
they
shelf
do.
after shelf after shelf of comic books, or long box after long box, you could get this digital application and have access to those comic books electronically.
Sure, and that would be great for anybody that's a reader but not a collector.
Yeah, a million
So
percent yes.
subscription. I think that's a subscription, like you pay every month for that,
Yeah, I
if I
think so.
remember correctly.
Or they might do one of those special bundle deals where if you pay for the whole year, it's a fraction of the monthly cost, or you get some sort of a discount. So
Of course.
there are probably, if I had to guess a number, and I'm not very good with numbers, 1,000 comic books for Star Wars, not counting um, the the comic strips that used to be published in newspapers and things like this. They've put
Yeah.
together a few books of those, of the comic strips.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably, like you said, compilations or something like that that you could probably pick up somewhere.
Yeah, and
That
then
would
to
be
take
pretty
that
cool
that
too.
detour to where you were going with the Doug Chang book and the behind the scenes things, there's tons of those. I mean, one of the more recent ones, where'd it go, that I grabbed, was the Acolyte Visual Guide.
Oh, there you go.
So this is more of
Yeah.
an in-universe kind of book. I mean, it
Right.
explains the characters and the costumes and the props and the locations, as if you're reading a guide of what actually is.
Right.
And then there's the art of books, or the making of books, and J.W.
Right.
Rinsler has done some amazing ones of those. And the Doug Chang book, the newest one, it's a two-parter. I mean, you're getting, I think
Correct.
the description was like 22 pounds worth of book.
Yeah, and they said there's 2 books in there. One is all the Star Wars stuff, and then the other one is all the prior stuff that he worked on, like, Back to the Future 2 and Alien 3 and Terminator, Judgment Day, and other stuff that he worked on.
Yeah, and then there's, if you
So
want to go down that path
pretty
of
cool.
just the specific makers, Phil Tippett has a book that, one of these big thick coffee table books, around some of his creations, and we know he's done some amazing. He worked on,
Right.
I'm pretty sure, worked on Aliens, and he's worked on, was it
Probably.
Dragon Heart, maybe? Not
Okay.
to mention RoboCop. He worked on RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop, sure.
The was it the Ed T09 or whatever it was, the
Yep.
bipedal robot with the Gatling gun arms.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I remember that.
he's done some incredible stuff, non-Star Wars related. The only problem with these books, and I don't want to sound like this is a complaint by any stretch, but they're big. They're really big
They are
books.
big.
And so
They're
if
really big
those
books.
are an investment in storage. I mean, one of the, I don't know if you can see up on the shelf, way up there. So
Yeah.
this is the Phil Tippett book, and then the
Okay.
ones next to it are the J.W. Rinsler books. But because of the sheer size of them, you wouldn't want to when you read them, you want to read them on a table so they're supported. You know,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that the spine is supported, and you're not running the risk of tearing out pages or whatever. Um, and like I
Right.
said, some of them are big. There's a Ralph McQuarrie set that's also a 2-volume set, and
Absolutely.
the books themselves might be 12 or 14 inches tall.
Right.
Fantastic books.
Yeah. They're amazing. I don't have a copy of that, but I would like to, just to have it laying around.
Yeah, and that's the kind of
It's
that's not a Secret Santa gift. Like, that's a gift that you
no,
give to
no, no,
someone
no.
that you that you really, really, really like, and I think you appreciate their appreciation. The casual
Yeah.
fan may not enjoy all of Phil Tippett's work, um,
Right.
but they may enjoy the making of The Empire Strikes Back or something like this.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a certain genre, or not genre, I guess, but a specific area that somebody would like, that would be a good gift for that. Like, if you wanted the Ralph McQuarrie book, you have to be interested in the pre original trilogy art design. So you have to be very specific in buying those. I mean, there's a lot of people that would appreciate it anyway, but
Yeah.
there's some people that, they came in later and they might not have that same interest because.
and they've really become a thing, and I'm not claiming this in 100% accuracy, but I think George Lucas and Star Wars has influenced that part of publishing because they've done it for so long. They started off with these, little paperback making of books where it was concept drawings and stories behind the scenes of how things got made, and they've grown over time to be these nice hardcover editions that are beautifully curated. The art is more finished and polished than your normal concept art, and it seems like there's lots of them. I have a How to Train Your Dragon. There's for
Yeah.
all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, from Iron Man through to, I don't know if Iron Heart is in it yet, but I know, like, the Black Panther books, and I have a bunch
Okay.
of the Hobbit ones as well.
Yeah, and those are pretty cool too. But this is not a Hobbit podcast.
Yeah, not yet. Although could very easily turn the page in a moment's notice, and next thing you know, we're talking about Middle Earth. So,
Right.
what about those friends that are action figure collectors? Like, what kind of recommendations or suggestions would you have for those?
So for me, and I know you're a big action figure collector. For me, I'm a hard sell for action figures because I'm on two sides of the fence. I want to keep them in the box and keep them nice and display them and have it really nice, but yet I want to have it out and put the guns in their hands or the lightsaber in their hands and pose them on my shelf or whatever. And in that, I never buy action figures for me, but I would buy them for somebody else. And probably, I mean, my go-to for that, if I was going to buy action figures for somebody, buy something Black Series, find what they're interested in and go with that. Even if it's just something as specific as, do you want a rebel or do you want an imperial or do you want a separatist or whatever, I would just start with whatever faction they really enjoy and just
Yeah.
buy them, that kind of thing. That's where I would start.
Yeah,
If
because you
they're
you could get any Mandalorian Black Series figure and give it to someone from the Mando Mercs, and it wouldn't matter if they already have it or not; they would gladly accept it.
oh yeah, I mean, same with me. Like I don't know that I would buy one for me, but if you gave me one, I would find a home for it on my shelf.
Yeah,
Just, I mean, same with like Funko Pops. Like I don't know that I would ever buy a Funko Pop for me. I know tons of people that collect them. I know I have a number of them. But believe it or not, I think I have 2 Star Wars out of all the ones that I have.
that's pretty funny.
So that it's weird, and I think they're the same one, so that's the worst part.
Yeah, so for me, if
um,
someone was gonna, asking for my suggestions on the action figure part, it'd be two questions. Number one, um, which do they collect? And when I say which, size, because there's the 12-inch figures, there's the 6-inch
right.
figures, there's the 3 3/4 inch figures, there's the micro machines, there's a mission fleet. So I would want to make sure that whatever I got them coincided with the other things that they collected. The other question that I'd ask, and this might be much more specific than necessary, um, do they have a favorite character? Because there are some
Yeah.
folks who might like, they have a nook for all Bo-Katan, or a nook for Chewbacca, or a shelf of just Jedi, and to your
Yeah.
point of Rebel, Sith, Separatists. So to get them something that would fit in with their other things, even at the risk of getting something that they may already have, because who knows, this could be the one that's their play toy, and the other one that they have is
Right.
their display toy, and so on. Because I too sometimes do that, especially if I can get a discount on something, or I'll buy one to show and one to shelve.
I am going to say just real quick, uh, as we go on here, we're going to be starting that Hobbit podcast. We already got one follower.
Yeah,
and
mission to Middle Earth.
I think Ace wants to be in our Secret Santa, just so you know.
And there are, I mean,
So
with the toys too, I will say this: I would not be the kind of gift giver who will scour the internet for the vintage ones, because some of them can be quite pricey.
correct.
So the
Right.
for instance, the Star Wars Droids cartoon. It's a cartoon that came out in 1985. There was
Right.
a movie in 86, but for the most part, it was 13 episodes in 1985 that also had a line of toys, action figures. And I want to say it might have
Yeah.
been 13 figures and three or four vehicles. One of the
Okay.
figures was Boba Fett, and it was the style from the 1978 holiday special. So it was very stylized, and different
Okay.
colored paint and all of that kind of stuff. We actually displayed one of them during our Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy episode about Boba Fett.
Right. That's right.
One of
When we
those
did the
figures from 1985 sold fairly recently for something like $3,000. I'm not that kind of a secret Santa.
that's a lot.
I'm not that.
No.
I'm not that kind of a secret Jawa. I'm not gonna. That's not the gift I'll give to the just a friend off the street kind of thing.
Can we just stay in the $20 range here?
25 pushing it. If it
Yeah.
if it's just a colleague at work who might be a Star Wars fan.
Right. No, you're right though, and I hadn't actually considered the different sizes of action figures and stuff like that, and which is odd because I'm sitting here in front of different sizes of action figures of my own. So the other thing that I was going to say, and this is just from my side, there is a ton of what are they, 9.5-inch tall model kits, where you just need to put the pieces together and they build an action figure. And I have two of those that actually I ended up with three of them, but I traded one away because I had two Boba Fett's. But don't hate me. No. But they're actually like really easy build. And if you give me a second, I'll grab one. I'll show you.
Yes, please. Show and tell.
All right. So they are this size.
Is that an actual soft cape?
Yes.
Wow.
The baggy pants are not, but the soft cape, yep, and the scarf is all soft parts. And they do just, I don't really want to pull it apart, but they will just pull apart, and it is posable.
That's pretty cool.
So I put it in.
Do you know
Um,
do you know the manufacturer of that by chance? Is that Belay or Belay?
I want to say it's
Bandai?
it might be Bandai.
Okay.
It might be. I can, and they do sell them in all the model building stores.
Okay.
So they are pretty easy to get a hold of. And like this one, he's got the carbine. He's also got a pistol on the side. They all come with several different hands, so you can do holding a gun, not holding a gun. The Mando one that I have has the rifle or the spear. And I think he's got his pistol too, so he's got more weapons than he can actually wield at one time. So, and then I actually have ships that they're smaller scale, but they're the same company. Yeah, they might be Bandai. I'll probably look it up then. But I'll look it up, see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, I have 2 ships. I have Slave 1 and then the Razor Crest. So
Nice.
and they're smaller. They're only, these guys ain't fitting in them.
Okay. Well, speaking
But
of like models,
if you're a little bit of a, yeah, sorry, go
those
ahead.
are great gifts because then it's one of those. It's a gift that's also like a project. It gives them something to do rather than just I'm going to plop it up on the shelf. I'm actually going to invest some time constructing it.
Yeah,
And then you could even go down if you wanted to, you could go down that nearly endless path of Lego Star Wars things.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Yeah, it is a Bandai kit.
Okay.
Bandai Namco.
Yeah, because you could get someone each year they come out with one of these Star Wars advent calendars that have the little figures in them or little ships where it might be 9 small Lego pieces that you put together to make a Naboo fighter or a droid of some sort or whatever, and you get a couple of minifigures in here as well.
Right. Yeah, they have it's right around, it's 1/12 scale is what they call it. And they're about $30 for a kit.
Nice.
Yeah. And you get to build it yourself, which is always fun. If you're a modeler. Or a Lego builder. Legos are great. Legos are an awesome choice, especially the cheap ones. Like the mini kits, those like you showed there, those are fantastic. They're great stocking stuffer ideas because we threw a ton of those in for the kids a couple years when they were just getting into Legos. But to be honest with you, somebody could buy me Legos, I'd be more Star Wars Legos, I'd be more than happy with it.
And with those things, it's cool to get a couple of them. Either one because it's a variety, and 2 because of they're inexpensive. You put together 3 of those little kits, and that might be $20. Or if you want to get one of the bigger small kits, you can get them for like $25. I have one up here on the shelf.
It's all kinds of show and tell tonight. Little did you know. Mike takes the night off, and all we do is show all our cool toys to everybody.
Yeah, this one might be $25. It's Keller and Beck, Grogu,
okay.
During the Order 66 scene where Jedi, played by Ahmed Best, rescued Grogu.
Right. Yeah, and they have those little battle ones that are all like that $20 range. So those are really good ones to get, and they come with tons of minifigures. So
Yeah,
even
like
if
this
you
one.
just collect the minifigures, it's a great buy.
This one comes with 2 clone troopers, 2 501st clone troopers, Keller and Beck with 2 lightsabers, and Grogu. So that's four
Nice.
minifigures in one set.
I feel like I'm out of the loop. I haven't seen that one.
Well, there's also another one. It's a Jedi starfighter, like from Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. You know, the triangular looking starfighters, and it's Jedi
Yeah.
Bob from Rebuild the Galaxy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I still am
still like-
eyeballing the Black Millennium Falcon from Rebuild the Galaxy.
I was
but-
just gonna say the same thing.
but it's still, the last time I saw it, it was like $145 or something like that, and it's a little too much for one Lego set for me for right now.
Okay, so this is a side note here, but an interesting tidbit. There is a Lego Builder app. I don't know if you're aware of this.
No,
And if you have the extra pieces and you know the number of the kit, it actually has the instructions for the kit on the app.
really?
So, oh yeah, it's. If I had more time to just build Legos, my kids have tons of Legos upstairs that, let's say, they enjoyed building and then they enjoyed disassembling and losing the pieces and setting them aside and stuff like that. So they've kind of gone into some bins and drawers and stuff like that. But there's actually a Lego Builder app, and it's from Lego. It's not like some off trend, and I've used it. It works, and you can look up. It's got Lego Star Wars and Harry Potter and Lego City and anything. If you know the kit number, you can just type the kit in. If you don't, you can still search through it, and it's the instructions as they are in the book.
Oh, that's very cool. Now, this is going to sound silly. You might not have the answer. Does it also have like the recipe, like all of the different pieces that you need, other than just a picture of the pieces that you need?
I believe so, and because I think it's exactly like the book.
Okay.
So I got it. I'm opening it right now, and I don't typically go into my phone while I'm recording, but we're gonna. So what's the number on your one that you had there?
This one is 7 7 75378
537
or 73378.
Nope, I got it. So it brings you up. That's a Bark Speeder Escape.
Yes.
So it looks just like
that's
that.
exactly it. Yeah.
And then you can start building, or apparently they added a feature where you can build together with somebody else. That's kind of cool. I gotta wait for it to load a second. And I'm pretty sure the first page is the same like in the books where it tells you all the pieces. It starts out with a picture of the.
Oh, that's
done.
awesome.
Of course, I got a notification. And then you hit the build button, and it actually shows you the bag 1. And then, all right, so maybe it doesn't. Maybe at the end it does, because I think they're at the end. But then it shows you all the pieces put together.
That's very cool.
Instructions as they are in the book. Oh yeah. So if you haven't tried it yet, try it. It's worth it.
I'll definitely have to check that out.
They do have, of course, it's all white. It's all the pieces you need to build the set.
That's the recipe I was talking about. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. So there you go. And believe it or not, you can go through the app and order the pieces you don't have.
So after you've gone through that big bucket of things and you're missing the one angled part, you can.
Yep. If you're missing the one angled part that's a dark red in color, you can go on there and order it online.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there you go. There's my tip for the day.
Plus, going back to the idea that there's multiple sizes of the figures and stuff, and you probably know this better than anyone. that they've got the tabletop games that are available now, like Star Wars Shatterpoint and stuff like that, where you can get all the little collectible figures for that.
Yep. And that's the same thing. Like you can put those together and paint them. And I don't think I have any within reach, or else I'd grab one. I do have Legion. I can show you one of those. Hold on.
See, this is one of the things I love about talking with other Star Wars collectors, because you never really know what they've got resting on their shelf somewhere. You know, it could be a book, it could be um, a, a collectible of some sort, it could be an action figure, it could be a coloring book, it could be a measuring cup. I mean, there's so many things that are available nowadays that have Star Wars on it. I mean, that's one of the famous things about the way that George Lucas structured that original contract, was to be able to have the merchandising rights for so many things, from posters and t-shirts and coloring books to action figures and collectible plates.
Absolutely. Now I don't have my Shatterpoint miniatures down here, but I do have Rebel Legion, and a Rebel soldier is about that big. I have a squad of those. And of course, Stormtroopers.
Oh, very cool.
Yep. So, oh yeah, Raven just mentioned that when we met in books, we forgot to mention coloring books. Because we can always, if people are a little crafty, they can always do coloring books and stuff like that. And adult coloring books have gotten incredibly popular.
Well, so there's those, and going back to this idea of, you might have friends who collect from a certain era or whatever, and now, thanks to the internet and places like Facebook Marketplace or eBay or whatever, you can even go and get the vintage ones, the ones that were, that
my
came out.
goodness.
This is the Chewbacca's activity book, and this is from 1979. So
Wow.
this is actually older than my wife. It's, it's got little connect the dot
Look at that.
activities, and if you wanted to do a mobile with the different ships and stuff like that.
That's crazy. That's some old school stuff right there.
Yeah, very much so. And the coloring books by themselves are fantastic. The adult coloring books can be very intricate, or even
Yeah,
the kid books,
incredibly.
where you can get I think I saw, it might have been an 18-inch coloring book with Boba Fett and stormtroopers and stuff like that. So
That's very cool.
there's some wonderful things like that. Now, here's probably one of the more wild questions. What do you think are some of the random things that you can get as gifts, beyond the action figures, beyond the t-shirts, beyond the coffee mugs? What do you think makes good, or interesting or creative or curious Star Wars gifts?
Okay, so I mean, Star Wars has implanted itself onto everything. I mean, we even have a Grogu popcorn maker. So it looks like Grogu in the bassinet, the little bassinet, and I take the lid off, and there's a bowl and all the stuff, and a waffle maker and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of like laid back clothes and stuff like that. So like the fleece pants and stuff like that. If you know somebody that's nice and good enough that you can get them, clothes like that. Like I don't know anybody that would say no to like a pair of fleece pants, or even like a pair of jogging shorts with like a rebel insignia on it or something like that, or Empire or whatever. And really, the other thing that I would say, if you are learning that somebody's a Star Wars fan, you can go anywhere and get vinyls to put on your car, on your laptop, on your books, on your notebooks, on your book bags. I mean, anywhere. I mean, and you can go as far as like something like that big to, huge sheets of, the Empire doesn't care about your stick figure family. Or
Well, I saw one the other day where it was on the passenger side window, and it was a profile of a stormtrooper. And so as you're
yeah.
driving by this car, you look over and it looks like the stormtrooper sitting in the car facing forward.
Oh yeah, I seen that. I seen one of those too.
And
That's
I
pretty
thought you were
cool.
going somewhere else when you mentioned vinyl, because I was
Oh
thinking things like, you could get them the records that have the soundtrack on them, or if you wanted
yeah.
to be, Star Wars adjacent and funny, is you can get the older records, the
Oh my
disco
goodness.
the disco versions of them, or they even had Star Wars stories.
The books that came with the records.
The books that
Do
came
you
with the
remember
records,
those?
exactly.
Yeah.
Some of them would
Yeah.
be stories on tape, or stories on vinyl.
It depends on how old you are.
Yeah,
and to be honest, like Raven just put up, I mean, like we cufflinks. We have a Boba Fett grilling set. We have aprons, lightsaber chopsticks, lightsaber pizza cutters. I mean, the list of Star Wars stuff is virtually endless.
Christmas ornaments.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Christmas ornaments is a big one, and that's one of the big things on my list, because Christmas ornaments have gone anywhere from, these simple little like helmets, that you put on the tree. And I even have what are they called? The little pressed together beads, perler bead
Pearly beads.
ornaments for my Star Wars Christmas tree. So, and I have a couple of those on there. So, and any kind of Christmas ornament. I mean, it tis the season, right? If you're doing a Secret Santa Christmas ornament's like right up your alley.
Yeah. And then if you
So,
wanted to
and they
too, you could go one step further beyond that, and sometimes there are Star Wars experiences. Oftentimes there might be in one of the, if you live nearer to a big city or even a smaller city. Ocean City had um, the Ocean City Symphony Orchestra. I can't remember which it was, but they had an event where they played John Williams music.
that's pretty cool,
So it was a night of listening to live music, or heck, you could get them tickets to see Galactic Empire, the heavy metal band.
right?
And so
Right.
it's Star Wars related, but it's not necessarily something that sits on a shelf, collecting dust
Well,
or
yeah.
taking up space.
Well, I know Symphony Hall in Allen, in where I live, they do John Williams nights, and sometimes they play the music with the movie, or part scenes from the movie with the symphony playing. That, I mean, that would be a fantastic gift, something like that.
Or if you
Or
happen to have
even
somebody who goes to the planet Batu, you could have them get you something, from there.
right.
So this is the Chewbacca Life Day figure.
Yeah. I think that's a little bit over the Secret Santa price, though.
Maybe.
I mean the trip.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See that? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's for sure. That is for
You're
sure.
gonna have to be really good friends with whoever you're getting that for.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got you tickets to go to California. You're going to send you to Anaheim for a weekend.
I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I'm gonna have to schedule it.
And then going back to some of the basics, I mean, there's there's next to no end to the Star Wars T-shirts that are available.
Oh,
know.
absolutely. I mean, and you can go anywhere from the basic ones to like parody ones, like I have. This is my Forest at Endor summer camp.
Yeah, Will Real Hood's ice cream.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
So that's one of the I think one of the fun things about buying gifts for Star Wars fans is it gives you the opportunity to know that fan a little bit more.
Yeah.
Even asking those questions. Do they have a favorite character? Do they have a favorite era? Do they have um, a, 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 a certain style of things that they get? And then
Right.
being creative within that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's certainly plenty of stuff out there, and really, I mean, obviously, like, it's a secret Santa. You can't really pry too much because they're not supposed to know who's getting them the gift. But if it's just like a gift exchange where, like, I got your name, you got Ace has Raven, so on and so forth. I mean, besides like tickets to the first Lord of the Rings podcast episode, we could really talk it out and find out what they like,
Yeah. Well, and if you have the time, these prizes, these gifts don't necessarily have to be all that expensive. Yes, a trip to
Oh, absolutely
Batu
not.
could be expensive, yes.
Yeah.
However, you had mentioned and I had mentioned that Star Wars stuff is available in many places. So, I mean, you can go to Ollie's, you can go to a lot of the craft stores have Star Wars related
Sure.
things. Target, Walmart, GameStop,
Yep,
plus all the
absolutely.
online vendors and things like this.
And the best part, I always think, is like you can go to some of these places and like GameStop. You can go to GameStop near you, and if you go to the next one, next closest to you, they could have completely different stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you go online and order stuff, that's you can pick whatever you want. But like a lot of times, you go to these stores and they got stuff on sale or on clearance because it's been sitting there for how long. Stuff that might not even be on the online store anymore, but that might be the perfect gift for whoever you're looking for.
And not to make this about us or to be selfish or greedy, sometimes in the midst of hunting for someone else, you might find something that you can add to your collection.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. There's a lot of times when you go shopping for other people and you end up with a present for me.
yeah, it's finder's fee. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. I never wrote it off as finder's fee. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
So, yes, I'm getting you this Chewbacca action figure, and while I'm here, maybe I'll get this clone trooper for me.
Right? That's
Yeah.
perfect.
I'm doing a good deed and I'm receiving a good deed. Everybody wins.
That's right. No, that's the shopping experience, if you let it be, can be really rewarding.
And if you really want to jazz this up a bit, if you want to make this more of an adventure, instead of just
Yeah.
calling it shopping, you're hunting for bounty. That's what you're doing. You're on the lookout
Absolutely.
for a big score.
Right. It is always on the hunt.
And I'm
Because
hoping at some point to be the fan that friends know so well that they say, you know what, Mike, we're cleaning out my kid's closet and he doesn't want to play. He doesn't play with these action figures anymore. Would you like them?
yes.
Yeah.
The answer is always yes, isn't
Of
it?
of course, I will give this a good home. Yes, I promise you. I
All
will.
right.
I will take care of this, and it will fit in nicely with my collection or my
Or
Smaug horde, as I like to call it.
right. No, we're going back to the Lord of the Rings here.
So here's a wild question. It doesn't necessarily fit into this, but it kind of does.
Okay.
Let's pretend that um, Kathleen Kennedy and the group at Disney has said they've come to you and said, we want your help in choosing the next line of whatever. It can be a line of books, it can be a line of action figures, it can be, a t-shirt line. What would you pick and why?
That's tough. That's a really tough question because there's so many answers and none of them are wrong. Um, I would. Oh, I think I'd like to. If I would like to, I don't even know. It's too hard of a question. I would probably go with t-shirts
Okay.
because I think that would be the most saleable item. It's the most universal. It's probably the easiest to get out there. And I would probably work on, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, right now, I'm waiting for the merchandise from the mall show to come out. I mean,
Well, it's all
let's
going to be
be
half off
honest.
anyway.
Right. I mean, if that was going to be like my go-to, I want that merch from the mall show. I want a lot of merch to for Darth Maul. I mean, like we got all that in episode 1. What was it, 2000, whatever it was, way back when episode 1 came out. We got all that stuff with Darth Maul on it and all that stuff, and it's been a trickle since then, and there's been a couple cool things, but like I want more Darth Maul stuff. That would be really cool.
Nice. Good choice.
Some
Solid choice.
cool Darth Maul with the spider legs and Darth Maul with the robotic legs and from Clone Wars, and maybe even Darth Maul, the crime syndicate lord.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't do more Darth Maul lightsabers because he had so many varied lightsaber hilts and setups and arrangements and everything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But I guess the first one is the most iconic, so they kind of leaned into it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I think that's it for me. I mean, what would you do if you had keys to the kingdom right now?
I think the one that I would go to right now in this moment that I'm surprised that they didn't already do was more stuff related to the Skeleton Crew. And here's why. The Skeleton Crew itself was a story about kids,
Yeah.
so you've already got this kid mentality, this kid focused show. And there could have been, I mean, from what we saw, we only got a handful of action figures for Skeleton Crew, maybe some t-shirts
Mm,
here and there. But they didn't do Wim's speeder. They didn't do, I mean, they did a Lego version of the Onyx Cinder, but they didn't do
okay.
many other play sets related to the Skeleton Crew. They didn't do many of the supporting characters. They did Jod and Brutus, but there were
Right.
so many. I mean, they could have done a set of action figures for all of the kids and their parents. Do you remember?
Sure.
This might have been. Well, you probably saw the Playmobil like farmhouse where
Yeah.
like the lid
Yeah,
opened
sure.
up and it was little action figures that could play like a dollhouse. They could have
Right.
done one of those play sets for either Wim's house or Neil's house.
Right.
So I thought there was a lot of kid focused things that they could have done with Skeleton Crew. So if they said to me, "What would you do?" That would be my first my go to, more stuff related to Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And I mean, Star Wars has always been for kids, right? So it doesn't matter if you're 5 or 55, but
Yeah. Says that
it's still for kids.
yeah, the duo of 50-year-old guys to still talking about Star
Right.
Wars.
But I mean, even George Lucas always said it was for kids. Like that's where his focus was a lot, or creating the story, creating the stuff that happened, and I think that maybe some of that in our aged fandom has kind of weaned us off, and we want more adult stuff like Andor, or even like the Acolyte or something like that, where these kids were. I don't know that we're introducing enough stuff for kids specifically, and Skeleton Crew was a fantastic jump off for somebody that's that young, preteen, teenager, to get into Star Wars, where they have this cool adventure.
Yeah,
So
especially
I
because there's
think
the possibility of connecting in so many different directions, either into the current stuff or into some of the historic stuff. Clone
yeah,
Wars and the original trilogy, um,
absolutely.
and I
And
would also figure out a way of making some toys related to some of the Legends stories. Um,
absolutely.
and I'm okay that Legends is not canon. That's fine for me. It doesn't change the story. It doesn't change whether or not I thought the books were fun to read. It would be cool to see action figures from that era instead of, and please know that I love seeing Stormtrooper action figures.
Yeah,
However, I don't need to see a new Stormtrooper action figure from A New Hope. How about give
right.
me one character from one of the comic book lines, or one of the sets of novels that were out there, or whatever.
Or I mean, also, not to be dumb, but like, what about like action figures from some of the video games, like Cal Kestis and Seer, and the crew of the Mantis. You could do some of the bad guys that were in that. The Can't think of the bounty hunter squad right now, but the Haxian Brood, stuff like that. That would make some really cool action figures
Yeah,
for
they have
you
a
to play
handful
with.
of those, not many. And to your point, what they didn't do or haven't done is to do them almost in batches. So for
Yeah,
instance, they could do a batch of Skeleton Crew kids, and then a batch of Skeleton Crew adults, or a batch of Axiom Brood figures. Or do you remember Solo? And there
yeah,
was the Cloud
of course,
Riders. Yes,
right,
you had Emphas Nest, and I think there may have been a figure for Warwick Davis's character, but the rest of the the rest of the Cloud Riders, there was no action figures, there was no speeders, there was none of those things, and those are
right,
are great sets of things, rather than, like I
true.
said, a repaint repackage of a sand trooper.
Another stormtrooper or a snow trooper, or yeah,
Yeah.
or a first order snow trooper or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think we covered quite a bit so far.
Yeah. And that's just, off the top of our heads. Imagine what we would be able to do with a little bit of planning.
Yeah, give me a week of research and nothing else to do.
Yeah.
This could have been a 24-hour episode.
And Mike, wherever you are on your secret spy mission out there in the universe, I hope you're proud that we held down the fort. You were okay with this friendly Mando takeover of the inflatable Falcon. And so before we sign off for tonight, I want to say, thank you, Todd, for joining me and be willing to do this. And please, please, please remind everybody where they can find you outside of the inflatable Falcon.
So if you're looking for me, I'm on Table Ready Painting. It's a YouTube podcast. You can get it audio or visual, where we talk about Warhammer. We're on Lake Clan Legends, where I play Dungeons and Dragons with my boys, and divert a little bit. And then, of course, Raven said we didn't talk about cars yet, but I think we'll leave that for next episode, right?
Actual cars or collectible Star Wars cars? Because in the 1970s, there was a couple cars that were shaped like vans, and you ran
Yeah.
this cord down the middle. It's like a ripstick sort of thing. You pulled the handle, and it would just make the car go fly. But I don't know if those are the cars you're talking about.
Actually, we did mention cars because we talked about putting vinyls on your cars,
That's
but we didn't
true.
repair cars.
Yeah, we did
There's
forget
no
to.
bad alternators or anything like that.
Yeah, we. Although I am getting my catalytic converter replaced next week.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
and I don't have any good
That's-
vegan holiday cookie
Yo, vegan.
recipes to talk about.
All right. Well, Mike's gonna have to double down next time.
Yeah.
So, and of course, the last place you can find me is Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy with Todd and Ken, where we talk about all things, mostly Mando, but a lot of other characters that we've been coming across, and with my favorite co-host.
Oh, I appreciate that. And when I'm not on this show, I'm on the show with you, Bounty Hunting Across the Galaxy. Every once in a while, I get to be invited to the Bantha Milk podcast, where we sit around the Dejeric table. Rob, R-O-B, Tom, David, and myself just asking each other, silly off the wall questions related to Star Wars and seeing how everybody responds. And then every so often, I put out an episode of the Rambling Star Wars Fan, and I'm excited to say that before the end of the year, there's going to be one more episode of the Rambling Star Wars Fan this year, and it's going to be all about that 1985 Star Wars Droids cartoon. And this isn't a spoiler, it's just a preview, just an announcement. There's going to be a new introduction to the show, a new song. So if you haven't listened to the show in a while, make sure you listen to that one, because there will be a new introduction song.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
And on behalf of Mike Hinton, the other co-host of the Inflatable Falcon, who's often here with me every Wednesday night, doing work on CreatorCast, helping his daughter with Star Wars Geek Girl, he probably wants me to remind all of you to like, subscribe, and share all of our shows. And if you're not subscribing, if you're not supporting our shows that way, it's kind of like stealing, and that's just bad. And we wouldn't give you a Secret Santa gift if you were stealing. So I'm going to cue up our little outro music, which is the same as our intro music, and then we're going to call it an evening.
All
See
right.
you soon. Thanks, Todd.
Yep. See ya. Thank you.
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. I've been running scams on the street since I was 10.
Hey, Mike, what do you see? A falcon that inflates for free. Hey, Ken, what's the drill? Blue milk sipping gives me a thrill. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. Left, we're marching through. Cosplay helmets and a saber or two. Hey, Mike, what's the plan? To nerd out harder than anyone can. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. So grab your gear and join the crew. Mike and Ken got a show for you. Laughs and stars and a galaxy far. The Falcon's ready, let's raise the what do you see? A falcon that inflates for free. Hey, hey, Ken, what's the drill? Blue milk sipping gives me a thrill. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. Hey! Hey! Left, right, left, we're marching through. Cosplay helmets and a saber or two. Hey, hey, Mike, what's the plan? To nerd out harder than anyone can. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas